Okay, today we want to talk about something different. I want to share with you some of the ideas I have for this period, especially when we are working from home. What can we do? And I think Jaren covered something very relevant, which is, do you see this as an adversity or do you see it as an opportunity, right? And if you see it as an opportunity, how can you turn this 1 month into a month where you can have very high productivity? All right, so today we're going to explore something deeper into what I previously shared, which is how you can, make friends with people with high influence. How do you get people that, you admire, your role models or people with huge followings, right, to promote your work and endorse you, right? So how many of you here believe that, if you have a list of, influential people, right, people with a huge following to endorse you and promote you and introduce you to their friends and followers, right, it will help you achieve a lot more happier and easier. If you believe that, can you just type me, M-E, in the chat? Okay, right, I'm getting our responses. That's good. Okay, so let's get ready to start today, right? So today we are going to go deep into the topic of channel building, right? Specifically, how do you source? How do you open? How do you retain your channels, right? Perhaps some of you are searching for ambassadors right now and you have challenges finding a suitable and long-lasting one, right? Because they either do not have the audience you want or they run out of people to introduce you. All right, or perhaps you are running some campaigns right now and you're reaching to core audiences and you find that it is hard to convert them into your customers because credibility and trust takes time to build, right? And then this will mean, right, having a suitable channel partner which you can work long-term with, right, will help you solve this issue. So I will be covering how to source and how to open, right? CK will later on continue to cover on how to open and retain, right? And I want you all to understand this, right? Channel opening is not a new strategy or a capability, right? We have been using this since 2014. But the question is, why is it some of us have long-lasting channels, right? And some of us don't, right? And we don't even have a channel, right? And like I say, today we'll go deep, right? And going deep doesn't mean new strategies. Going deep means we are going more thorough, right? Going through things that we may have covered before, right? Some of the things that I will be sharing with you might be things that you have heard before, but I want you to think about this. What are the things that have been taught to you, but you're not using it, right? And what are the lessons you can gain from this sharing, right, that you can implement in these 30 days, right? So let's explore the tangible strategies that, you can have to eventually have people work together with you in this 1 month. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so today, right, I want to introduce you this book. I know some of you have saw this big book before. Maybe some of you have bought this book before. And if you have read this book, Traffic Secret, you have heard of this strategy called the Dream 100, right? And basically, this strategy helps you to list down the top 100 potential traffic partners that you can work with that share the same target audience that you potentially want to work with, right? So if you have not read this book or you don't have this book, right, at least as I share this sharing with you today, go and Google the term Dream 100. It will help you further understand how you can build up your channels. And basically some of the strategies that I'll be covering with you today are things that I personally do, right? And it's also covered in this book as well. So the main question that we want to answer today, right, is, and I believe you have that, right, is the two biggest challenge, which is how do you get to know these channel partners, right? And even after you know them, why would they be willing to work with you, right? And when it comes to opening channels or asking for any form of collaboration, how many of you actually don't have a channel partner because you often ask yourself these two questions, right? And you're stuck there. Can I have some response on this? Like if you have these two questions in mind and you cannot answer it, can you type number 1 in the chat? Okay, Vision. Okay, Vision, Leroy, Desmond, Brian, Vinny, Sean. So I guess, right, the Dream 100, as I share with you today, right, it's not just about getting new channel partners. I believe if you can answer these two questions, you can get more ambassadors for yourself as well. Okay, so I'm going to cover channel partners because I believe that, if all you need is just one channel partner, right, to give you consistent streams of 20 appointments a month or 10 appointments a month, right, that would drastically improve your productivity in the next 2, 3, 4 months to come. Okay, so let's explore today how we can answer these two questions. All right. So let me answer the first question first. How do you get to know your channel partners? Right? How do you get to know them? You probably have heard of this saying, right? In networking, it's not just what you know, but who you know that matters. And I want to add on to that statement, right? And I say that it is not about who you know, but who knows you, right? And what you can do for them that matters, because that's going to determine why they are willing to work with you. Because knowing them, right, itself is not going to be enough. They need to know you as well, and they need to have a reason to continue this relationship with you. So I want to share with you something, right? And I think probably some of you may disagree or may not agree with me, right? But I want to tell you something that is personal, right? I'm probably the worst at networking with strangers, because if you really know me, deep in my core, you will know that I'm actually a very shy person and introverted person. So Leroy said it's not true. But it's to me, right? If you put me, the thought of going out there and networking with strangers, right, is actually very scary for me, right? If you put me in any networking setting, you will see me standing at one comfortable corner waiting for people to approach me, right? How many of you can relate to this? How many of you feel that you are shy and you don't dare to go and reach out to strangers in a networking setting? I just want to. Okay, Imran, surprisingly. Okay, Alvin, Desmond. Desmond, really? Are you sure? Right, Sufi, Matthew, Vishen, Ella, okay, Fit, Shy Girl 88, Candy, right? I know you might not believe this, right? But for me, it's true, right? It's just that over the years, due to the nature of my role and job scope, I've learned to develop this muscle to, embrace the fear, right? And put myself out there to go and talk to people. And I realized that, one key thing is that being sociable is a skill that can be developed, right? You can be an extrovert person, but you suck at socializing, right? But you can also be an introverted person, but good at socializing if you need to, right? So my main point here is this, right? Is if given a choice where I don't have to, I would prefer a small group setting compared to a big one, right? And probably more passive in nature, right? Waiting for people to come to me. But if I'm needed, I can choose, to be proactive and socialize and build a relationship from there. So if you are shy, an introverted person, right? I want to share with you how you can do this as well, right? How you can do this as well. But if you're an extroverted person and you love, being with people, you are a deal maker, then great. And it's going to be a lot easier for you, right? So we're going to explore how you can double down on this and attract the partners that you want to work with. Okay, so it's going to be quite exciting. All right, if you have a pen and paper, do write notes, write down what speaks to you. I hope you can, take back some valuable lesson that you can apply in these 30 days, right? So first off, I just want to answer the question, right? Some of you, especially the new guys, right, you may be thinking, Dylan, why do we want to build channels, right? Like I have shared with you in the past of my past sharings, right? There's only 3 types of traffic that we can use, right? Traffic meaning people that you can approach. The first one is your own traffic, right? Your own traffic, basically, after a while, you realize that you have limited own traffic, right? And for second tier traffic, it takes time to, establish trust and credibility. The second one is paid traffic. Some of you, you may not have money to pay for traffic, right? Even if you have the algorithm changes. Recently, if you realize Facebook has a huge algorithm change, even all my marketer friends, they have to restart all their campaigns because Apple just came out with a new policy, right? And the key thing with that is that when you stop getting, when you stop paying, you stop getting your traffic, and the same thing comes, which is it takes time to establish trust and credibility. So the reason why we want to look and explore into channels opening, right, is because we are able to leverage on other people's trust and credibility, which took them years to establish. And from that itself, you can see yourself getting consistent streams of leads coming in. So what's my key point here? If you find yourself unable to attract prospect and customer to you fast and consistently, one of the key reasons that we want to solve and work on this month, this next 30 days, right, is on trust and credibility, right? And if we want to do it fast, what if, right, we can leverage on other people's credibility, other people's trust that they have established with their audience. So I just want you to imagine this. If you have someone that you follow, right, someone influential, and he has access to a following or audience group that you're looking for, and if this person were to endorse you, right, and send out email for you, or do a social media post for you, or find a way to promote you, how much is that potentially worth to you, right? The amount of leverage you can get when you are building good referral collaboration, right? And relying on the efforts of other people is huge, And I want you to remember this, right? If you're currently stuck or you're currently worried, right? I just want to tell you one thing: you don't have to be good at everything, right? Because you can get an army of channel partners or ambassadors to promote you with their preferred methods of traffic. All you need to do from this sharing is to figure out how you can work out a win-win-win collaboration. You win, your channel partner win, or your ambassador win, right? And then the last one is the customer win. Okay, so let's explore further today. So the first step, right, the first way that I want to share with you may sound simple, right? But not easy to follow through, okay? So the first way, right, is for you to start getting yourself noticed, right, by saying great things about people. So the key is, how do you get them to notice you, right? If you were to reach out to a potential channel partner that you do not know, right, via personal message or Facebook message, right, the chances of them replying you will be relatively low, right? I mean, why would they reply you? They have hundreds of requests every day, right? They don't know you, right? They probably seen these kind of messages coming in very often, right? So you want to make sure that you get to know them first and say good things about them. Leave a comment, send an email to them of how he or she have helped you. Leave an impressionable review. But the question is, why? Why do we want to do that? Can anyone share with me, why do you think we want to say good things about other people? Just make a guess, right? Type in the chat. Why do we want to say good things about other people? Right? Type it in the chat if you can guess the answer, right? Why do we want to say good things about other people? Make an impression. Cause you, so Sufi say make an impression. Sufi say cause you want them to say good things about you. Cause people only remember what you make them feel, right? Or to catch their attention, make them feel appreciated. Because we are human beings, who doesn't like to be praised, right? So the key thing is this, right? Have you recall of a time where people say good things about you? And what will be your impression of this person? Yeah, I'm going to go deeper into this, okay? So it's very simple, right? People like people who like them, right? There's this term called reciprocal liking, right? People like you more when you like them, right? So I want you to imagine this, right? You meet someone, you meet someone totally new in these next 30 days, right? And then you have a brief conversation with this person. And after that short conversation, you parted ways, right? So at this point of time, you may not have strong feeling about this person, yes or no, right? And then the next day, right, you talk to a friend, right? Talk to a friend, probably a mutual friend, and this mutual friend said, "Oh, yesterday that person that you was talking to, he was telling me that he was so impressed with you, and he felt that you really inspire him, and he wants to know you more, right?" Can you imagine that with that simple piece of information you get from this friend, your opinion of that person, right, immediately change? Yes or no, right? Because you're probably you probably be thinking to yourself, wow, I really like this person already. The idea is as simple as that, right? When our liking for others become clear, right, they are prone to return the liking. So I want to share with you one example of channel partner that I managed to open. Real story, okay? I had a client in the past who invited me to one of her event. It was a seminar event, right? And it was a preview seminar which they were teaching about trading, how to trade. I can't remember what they trade, right? But at that point of time, I didn't have any interest in trading, you know. But I wanted to support her because I just wanted to support her, right? So I went down to the seminar, to the seminar, and then I found out it was a 2-hour seminar. They were teaching people how to trade, you know, using copy trading softwares, right, where you can copy other people's successful trades, right? So at the end of the seminar, you know, I thought to myself, at the start of the seminar, I thought to myself, "Hi, since I'm here, right, I might as well make full use of my time and see what are the opportunities I can get for myself," right? So I thought to myself, I wait for the seminar to end, right? And after the Q&A segment, I went to approach the speaker, right? And I thanked him. I say, "Wow, thank you so much for all your sharing. You know, I learned so much today. These are the things that I've learned, blah, 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 blah." And I give him a really good review. And then he was really happy that, you know, his sharing helped me and he did a really good job. So after which, right, I asked him one question. You know, I said, your company is really good at helping people make more money, right? If there's a program that can help you and your people raise more money and find money to invest, right, would that be of value to you and your audience? And then you know what he tell me? He said, "What do you mean?" Right? So that was how the conversation started, right? And then I just gave a very short intro of myself or what I do, and I told him, I said, there might be a possibility for us to collaborate. You know, would it be good if you can arrange a short 30 minutes discussion, probably this week or next week? And then long story short, he agreed, right? And 2 weeks later, we met up and then we had our first talk in 3 weeks' time. And I remember Ken was there to help me with the video as well, right? So what's my key point here? My key point is, right, say good things about others and people would have a different impression of you, and that's how you start establishing the relationship first, right? Because people like people who like them, and you want them to know that you like them. So my question to you here is, right, I want you to think about, right, is where and how do you prefer to get yourself noticed, right? Is it through event? Anyway, now we can't do events, physical events anymore, right? Would it be social media, right? Would it be LinkedIn, right? Would it be emails, right? Would it be Facebook messages, right? So where and how would you prefer to get yourself noticed? Right? I'm not even into asking for the channel opening right now. I'm just asking you, how can you get yourself noticed to the people that you want to work with? I want you to start thinking about that. How do you get yourself noticed so that you have a chance to ask for a collaboration? Because the biggest mistake a lot of people make, right, is when they start reaching out to people, they start taking things from them, and nobody likes that. Okay, later I'm going to explain a little bit more on that. Okay, so start thinking about where and how do you prefer to get yourself noticed. The second thing that I want to share with you is, if you want to get noticed, right, and you want to build up channel opening, the mindset is always to develop a relationship through serving first, right? And you want to make sure that, it happens by you starting to give them a reason on why they should connect with you or work with you. And the best way to do that is through serving. Because I'm not sure, that in the month of May, in this next 30 days, if it's the best month for us to launch any new campaigns, right? But it might be the best month, right? Like what Jareen shared just now, right? It might be the best month, right, for us to serve people. Because if you are worried because of, these new safe management measures or arrangement right now, I can assure you, I'm in many different group chats, right? You are not alone. That there are many people out there who needs help. Because if you don't help or reach out to them this month, then when would be a better time, right? This is not the month for us to lay low, for us to be, resting at home. This is the month for us to grow, right? This is the month for us to reach out to more people, because this is the month that they need it more than ever, right? So maybe for some of you right now, for 1 minute, right, I just like to ask you to stop worrying about yourself first, because you might be, panicking, worrying because you have been thinking about yourself, right? I want to promise you one thing, Ken. You will not run out of toilet papers, right? You will not run out of toilet paper. So don't need to go and buy all the toilet papers back home, right? I know all of us, we won't do that, right? So the question that you ask me right now is, Dylan, so what does serving means? What does serving them means, right? And I want to tell you this, right? If you can write this down, right, which is, it means that you want to support them in what they do. Same for leaders, right? If you're having a project group, the key thing is support them in what they do, right? Same for friends, support your friends in what they do, right? Because write this down, right? Which is people support people who supports them. Okay, people support people who supports them, right? If best, right, if you find a channel partner that you really want to work with, best if you can afford, go and support their stuff, right, at the highest level, right? Of course, if you can't, then think about other ways you can do to support them. Later we can cover some examples. So my main point is this: come from the angle of serving first. The biggest mistake that is a huge turnoff to people, right, is that most people start the relationship off by taking things, right? Most people start the conversation with, here's what I do, here's how you can help me. That's never going to work long term, right? And I want you to start developing this angle, which is start the conversation from the angle of serving first and ask yourself, how can I help? Because once you switch this around, right, and you come from the angle of serving first and you start asking people how you can help them or help their community better, right? Or can I help you with this thing that I'm really good at, and you're not going to pitch them anything, right? You will see that, magic will happen, right? And better yet, right? If you can go and do that thing, if you can do that thing without even asking them and just give it to them, right, without asking anything in return, you will see that the whole ball game will change, right? But perhaps some of you may be thinking here, right? But Dylan, right? But what if I can't help? There's nothing I can do to help. So it boils down to what this one key thing, which is listen to other people's needs first. And how would you be able to listen to other people's needs, right? You got to first reach out to them first, right? And have a conversation with them and understand their current situation. So after you understand their current situation, the key thing is when you hear a need that you may not be able to help, right? Think about, is there anyone that you know in your network that matches this help that they need, right? And then you can tell them you know of somebody you can potentially introduce to them. I remember there was once, right, with my client, this client, he liked watches. So at that point of time, it was like 2015, 16. I don't even know anything about watches. And then he asked me, oh, do you know of anyone that, can get me this model of AP watch, right? Back then, I don't even know like what's AP, right? And then I don't know where I got the courage. I just said, yeah, perhaps I may know. And then let me check for you, right? But I didn't know anyone that has the connection to get the watch for him. So I asked in our YOLO group chat, hey guys, is there anyone here who know watches and can help my client introduce him to to someone that can get him this watch? And true enough, when I asked in the group chat, a few of us, right, four of you PM me and share me the contact number. So here's the thing, right? You may not be able to help them with your own ability, right? But you may know of someone that is able to help them. So here's my key point, right? And there was one thing that I used that I asked, right, that helped me identify areas that I can help them. Okay, so there was this one catch-up session that I had with a friend, and I asked him this question during the catch-up. I said, hey, right, I meet different people every day, right? I'm just curious, what kind of referral, would be useful for your business, right? Would be useful to you, right? And then after I asked him that question, he just told me, oh, okay, basically these are the kind of people that I'm actually looking for, that I would love to work with. And I took note of that, right? And then a few days later, I called him. I said, hey, I remember you told me you like to work with this group of people for a new launch. I know of someone, right, which I feel you can work really well, and I've spoken to him about you already. He's happy to have a chat with you. So I can see that he was so happy over the phone, and then he thanked me. And 2 months down the road, right, you know what happened? He called me and then he asked me, hey, Dylan, I'm just wondering if you're hiring. I said, why then? I said, my brother is looking for a job. And then he recommended his brother to come for an interview come in for an interview with me, right? And ever since then, right, whenever he have a suitable candidate or a recommendation, he will always refer candidates to me, right, and offer me friendship price for the services that he do. So my key point is this, right? If you want to get endless streams of referrals, right, you want to start off the relationship by making win-win first, making them win first before you even win, right? That's how you start developing this relationship. So, so I just want to sum up, right? People support people who supports them. Think about, who you can support, right? Preferably someone who shares similar values as you, which is win-win, right? And serve a similar audience group, right? And you want to start off the relationship by either, supporting them, right? Promoting them, right? Or helping them with things that they need help with, right? And offer help to establish that relationship with them. So the question here that you want to ask yourself is, how can you start off building relationship by serving first, right? Or are you always thinking about taking things from people, right? Especially now, there's no live event, you can't do physical meeting, right? How can you use this learning lesson, right? Especially when you network and connect with people online, right? Especially when you want to reach out to people that is 1, 2, 3 level above you, right? So how can you start off building relationship by serving first? So the third thing that I want to cover today is, you want to be able to have a reason for them to work with you, right? A reason for them to work with you. Knowing them itself is not enough. They know you itself is not enough. They need to have a reason to work with you. Give them a reason to work with you through potential collaboration arrangement, right? Through potential collaboration arrangement that will benefit them, right? First, either I can give you a few examples later on through perhaps promoting them, serving their audience, or sponsoring them, right? And when you are opening channels, right, you need to understand that these people that you want to work with, they probably don't need you, right? If you don't approach them, right? How can you think of a structure where they actually need you, right? Where the people that you ideally want to work with, perhaps this person is an influencer, this person is a thought leader, this person have hundreds of thousands of followers, right? You got to think about what is it in for them first, right? Because like I say, they have requests every day, right? From people asking them to promote their stuff. So if you want to be working with people that has influence and following, or people who will be of value to you, then you got to ask yourself, can you give them a reason to work with you? I'm going to cover 3 potential ways that you can establish that relationship first. Okay, cool. So the first one is you want to be able to find ways that you can promote them as well, right? To build up the relationship first. And what do I mean by promote them? I'm not asking to sell their things, right? I'm asking you that you can give first, give them an opportunity first. So for example, if you are building your own community, which I know some of you are, right? You're either having your own Facebook live show or your own videos series, or you have a good following on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. Imagine you have been working on your following and you have decent following so far. What if you can make it a win for that person and say, hey, guy, hey bro, right now, I have a small decent following on my Instagram or Facebook, right? And I have X number of followers, and I know that it will be a good exposure for you and your brand, to share what you do with them, right? And I would love to interview you, right? I would love to be able to give you give value to you first, and have you on my show where I can introduce you to my followers, right? Regardless which channels you use, right? As long as you are building your following and you have a show, you have an interview, right? There's people to have there's reason for people to come to your show and work with you, right? And you can only do this if you yourself have a follower, lah, right? You have always you have a following so far. So what's my main point here? My main point here is that you give first, and later on when there's opportunity for you to ask for collaboration, it's a lot easier, right? And then the second way, right, is of course find ways that you can serve their audience. There are channel partners that I open, right, that they did not charge me any fees on, right? And the only way you can do that is basically they saw the value of the work that you do that can help their audience, and they saw it as a value proposition which they can increase the perceived value of their offer. So find an area where you can come in and add value to their audience, right? Of course, if you are not sure with the topics that you can do, speak to your leaders on this, right? And if you have someone who you think you can work together, but you don't know how to structure the way that can help your audience, right? You can talk to me, you can talk to CK, you can talk to any leaders, right? We have experience in this. So the key thing is this, right? You want to be working with people 1 level or 2 level above you, right? For example, we have UCM. All of us, we know we have UCM, a very popular program we use to collaborate with investing networks, right? We also have financial parenting talks, which we use in parenting networks as well, right? In the past, I used to have this topic called achieving work-life balance with sound financial planning with HR talks as well. So webinar is just one example, right? But what if, right, we can skip past that webinar? What if you can do giveaways, right, to support their audience? What if you can give away a free, financial fit checklist, ebooks, which they can send to their email list, right, for you, right, to serve their audience first, right? And if you are writing down notes, I want you to write down these key points. There is 3 types of emails which they can send for you, right? 3 types of emails. The first email they can send for you is value mail. Value mail basically is educational, right? It teaches the audience something. It builds a relationship with them. There's totally no selling involved. The second email they can send for you is basically promotional emails, basically promoting you or your webinar, right? To either meet up with you one-to-one or attend the webinar that you want to sell. So basically, in the promotional emails, basically it is mysterious, right? And you want them to click on the link to direct them to your sales page that does the selling. And then, of course, the third email that they can send for you is what we call the gift email, free gift email that you can send. You can pass it to your channel partner to send out for free, right? And this comes after the promotional email. So why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because in order for us to even talk about how we can serve their audience, you need to, your role, right, is basically, number one, to get yourself noticed first. Number two, to build a relationship with the potential channel partner that you want to work with, right? How to structure the deal. This one, you can talk to your leaders. The leaders can come up with the different collaboration ways that can be a win-win-win situation for them. So the key here, right, is to start from people you know first, right? That is the first priority of people that you can start with, or uh, uh, um, or people that who are at least 1 level, 2 level, or 3 level above you that you do not know them if you do not know them yet, right? If you approach people who are too high up in this level, right, they may not entertain you at all, right? Especially if they don't know you. But if they know you, it's a lot easier, right? When you are building your channel partners or your Dream 100 in that strategy, you need to know that there are a lot of different levels of people that you can work with. At the bottom of this level are people who have no followers. They have no customers, no base, right? And then there are people who are all the way at the top. This would be the celebrities, influencers with millions of followers, right? So you got to ask yourself, where are you at right now, right? And are you at the level where you can talk to influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers, right? Or are you at the level where you should be talking to people who at least have 10K followers? Okay, so the key thing is that you're always going to work your way up 1 level at a time, right? And as you do that, you're growing your business as well, so that you can as you climb up 1 level, right, you can reach out to people that's 2-3 levels ahead. So the last step, right, that I want to share with you is this, right, is you want to be able to sponsor them. This is one way that we have been doing for the last few years, right? People with a sizable following, they are building their business probably, or they are event organizers, or they are speakers, or they are HR, they have expenses they need to pay, right? And one of the best way that you can support them, or you can build a relationship with them, is that you can sponsor their events to help them minus off their costs. So we have this one channel. Okay, let's not name the name, right? We have this one channel that we worked with for the last 3 years. One of the key thing that kept the relationship going is the sponsorship with for their events, right? And there's 3 ways you can sponsor their events. The first one is you can either pay X dollar per attendees attended, or X dollar per referral that he referred you, right? And then the second one is X dollar per sign up, or people who have attended and signed up, or X dollar per close, right? So these three different methods of sponsoring depends on how much they trust you, right? If they trust that you can convert well, they will go for option number 3, right? Because they can potentially make more, right? But if they don't trust you yet, because you are just starting out and they do not know your the conversion of your process, right? They may just opt for option number 1. So if you're not sure how to do this. If you have someone that you can work with, right, you can potentially tell them, right, that, oh, there might be a way we can sponsor what you do, right? Perhaps we can arrange a separate session to discuss potential ways that we can collaborate, right? And you can talk to your leaders, and then we can come up with the collaboration plans. Okay, cool. So let me just give a summary of what I've covered so far, right? The first one is basically getting them to notice you, by saying great things about them. And this is something that you can do, right? Working from home, right? You can comment on their Facebook posts, you can leave a review for them, you can personally DM them or email them of how they have helped you or impacted you, right? Or say good things about them through your personal post sharing, things like that, right? I mean, I don't have to give you the details, right? But the main thing is you can say good things about them. Best if you can say good things about them with their friends, and then their friends will tell them for you. Okay. Second one is developing a relationship with them first through serving them by supporting what they do, right? Because people support people who supports them, right? And I think the key area here is, in order for you to know how to support them, is at least have a conversation with them first, understand what they're going through now, what kind of help they may need at this in these next 30 days. Okay, and then the last one is give them a reason to work with you through either collaborating with them through promoting them, or serving their audience, or sponsoring them. So at this point of time, right, some of you may be thinking, okay, so these are the three things that that you can do in these next 30 days, right? But you may not have an action plan. So I thought through it, how can you start small? Because some of you may not even have the experience opening a channel. And I wrote down a list of things that you can specifically do, right, during the next 30 days. So the first thing first is, all I am asking for, right, is I'm not asking you to start with 100. I'm asking you to start with 5 people who serve the same market as you, right? I want you to identify 5 people who serve the same market as you. If you don't have a market yet, it's fine. And find 5 people who has some influence and following, right? Later on, we go into more examples. So for example, if you want to reach out to the business owners market, like what Jerrin has mentioned just now, right? That business owner right now, if you're worried, they are even more worried than you, right? And you want to find ways that you can help them. Okay, so list down 5 business owner friends that that possible people who probably serve the business owners market, or they are business owners themselves, right? They could be marketing consultant, lawyers. They could be running a business themselves. These people are your potential allies, right? And you may want to ask them out for a Zoom call to explore potential collaboration. Because since both of you are serving the same market and you want to reach out to the same market, right? And the very simple thing is just ask them out for a simple Zoom call, have a 30 minutes catch up with them, explore ways that you can work with them. Okay, if you are thinking to yourself, but Dylan, I don't even have 5 lah. Like I don't have 5 people that I can reach out to, right? Then go back to your contact list, right, and find out who are the people that can potentially link you to them, right? And then do the same thing. Have a Zoom call with them, and then let them know these are the initiative that you have, that you want to help more business owners, you want to help more parents cope better with kids, right? During these next 30 days, with I appreciate campaigns that we have, things like that, right? The end goal that you want to have by the end of these next 30 days, right, is to build a strategic network of allies, right? You start with 5 and then slowly you scale that up, which this group of people can supply you with the streams of referrals and recommendation in this quarter and beyond. Okay, so let's go into the 4 types of channel partners that you can potentially work with. So allies will be people who they are like the salespeople. They are currently running sales as well, right? They are service professional, and let's say, for example, right, you want to target newlyweds, right, or you want to target young couples, right? Then your allies could be wedding organizers, right, or probably real estate agents, right? And understand this thing, right? Your customer is not the only source of reference and recommendation that you can have. You can work with allies that serve the same audience. The second group is you probably want to think about is, do you know of any friends, right, that is in any association or interest group, right? And they are probably the leader of this group, right? And they either they conduct the meetings, they conduct events with this group. And if they were to recommend you to their members, it will carry some form of weight. Okay, so that's the second group. Of course, the third group, which is what we talked about just now, are entrepreneurs and business owners. They are always on the lookout for talents, always on the lookout for opportunities to grow their business. And that is also why this group are the most open to collaboration and partnership. If you're able to help them, they'll be more than happy to introduce their extensive network to you, right? So entrepreneurs, the third group, and then of course the fourth one is people who have certain form of followings, they're influencers. This group of people, they are looking for newsworthy content. Okay, so if you're looking for YouTubers, influencers, bloggers, social media social media influencers, right? They are always hunting for newsworthy content that they can fit their audience, right? Or they are always looking for posts or opportunities that they can add value to their audience. At the same time, they're also looking for ways that they can monetize, on their following. So if you can position yourself as a credible source of information to them, right? An interesting way that you can help them increase their reputation or their perceived value of their brand, then you will see yourself able to, collaborate with them a lot easier, because they're not just looking for opportunities to make money, right? Because there's so many people reaching out to them and asking them to share their products with their followers. So you want to make sure that whatever that you have is newsworthy content, right? That is worth sharing for them to share with their audience. Okay, cool. So the last one, right, is just simple four-step summary, right? All I'm asking you to do is to first, identify these people through your current network first, because if it's someone that you don't know, it's a lot harder, right? So identify them through your existing network. They should know who you already are, right? So for a start, you can aim from 15, right? Each category you can have, 3 to 4. But if you don't know of any influencers right now, then identify more entrepreneurs first. I'm sure you have friends that is in business, right? As long as you have 15, that will work. Okay, number 2, you want to find ways to connect with them, right? Find an opportunity to meet up with them via Zoom, right? Now you can't dine out, right? So at least over Zoom. If it has been a while since you last touch base with them, at least send them a text first. At least check in with them, show some kind of concern with how they are coping so far, right? So after you have checked in on them, you may want to ask them out on the pretext of at least catching up, right? It can be a short one, 20-30 minutes, right, of a Zoom call, get to know what they're currently going through, right? And make it easy for them to meet up with you first, because the objective here is not to immediately open. The objective here is to at least find out how you can help them. And then, of course, step number 3 is, after you identify how you can help them, you want to be able to add massive value to them, right? Your objective here is to add value, not to sell them anything yet, right? And if they are your golden goose, right, then the golden eggs are your potential prospect, right? So I want you to think bigger. I want you to see further, right? And find out, during the Zoom call, what their interest is, what their challenges is, and what their aspiration is. You want to establish some common grounds, right? Show some show genuine interest in what they do, and find ways to value add to them. And value can come in the form of what? Sharing, right? It can come in the form of timely insights that you can add to them, right? And it can also be what I shared with you just now, introducing people of value to them. So the more people you catch up with the next 30 days, the more people you can introduce to each other. Does that make sense? Right? The more people you catch up with these next 30 days, the more people you can introduce to everyone that you meet later on, right? So this is a long-term game, but if you do it well, it will make your life a lot easier in the future, right? Because any relationship takes time. If you start early, if you start in the next 13 days, you will be able to reap the benefit soon enough. Okay, so there will come a point, right, after you add value to them, after you establish the relationship with them, there will come a point where they will thank you for your help. right? There will come a point where they will thank you for your help. And instead of just saying, oh, you're welcome, right? Perhaps you want to write this down, right? You can say something along the line of, you know, I'm sure when the day comes, I need your help. You will help me too. Okay, when people say thank you, right? What you want to be saying is also that something along the line of, right, that I'm sure you do the same for me. You know, I'm sure that, you know, the day I need your help, you help me too. Things like that, right? So that's to plant the seed that you may be asking him in the future. Or if you are someone that is more direct, you want to go the direct way, you can say something along the line of like, the best way that you can help me, right, is to introduce me to people that I can help them in the area of my expertise, right? So how many of you here have has gotten something out so far, like things that you can implement immediately? If you have, can you just type one thing that you'll be doing in the next 30 days? Right? How many of you here has gotten out something that you can do in the next 30 days? If you have, can you just type it in the chat, right? What you got out of and what are the things that you can possibly do in the next 30 days? Just click the chat. I'll give you all some time to type it out, okay? Okay, Imran say collab with business owners or people with influence within my circle. Yeah, definitely. This is something that y'all can do in the next 30 days, right? At least check in with them, have a talk with them. You never know how that conversation will go. Right? Anyway, you are at home, right? They are at home as well. They are also looking for opportunities. What else? What else? Connect with my current network, show care and concern, offer help with their business and network, find win-win partnership, ask 5 shortlisted people out and explore possible collaboration. Yeah. The rest? Let me see if I can see everyone. Okay, Ella say connect better with current celebrity. I personally hope to connect with more public figures from her. Okay. Nicholas say go back to channel partners, business owners, and build relationship. Yes, definitely. Work on current network and potential ones that can connect and leverage on each other's strength. Yes, definitely. So the more you connect with, right, the more resources you have on hand. That's what make you valuable, right? Because you don't necessarily have that ability to help them, but you may know of someone that can help others. The rest? Find ways to promote their services. Yeah, that's what you can consider as well. Reconnect with my clients and friends to see how I can help them towards their business. Reach out to my network who, Jane say, reach out to my network who are active on IG and connect with them. Yes, actually, if you think about it, right, the easiest thing that you can do, right, is go and look through your IG followers, right? Go and look through people that you are currently following as well. When was the last time you connect with your followers? How many of your followers really know you, right? If you really totally don't know them, can you start by getting yourself noticed first by saying something good about them, right? By commenting on their posts, right? So things like that. And through IG network, the good thing is that you already know how many followers they have. You already know how influential they are with the kind of posts they have, the kind of engagement they get in return. Okay, if I hope all of you have gotten something that y'all can apply after today's sharing. I hope I have more time to share more. Right, I'm come to almost the end of the my sharing today, and I believe CK have more things to add on to help you guys build up your channels in the next 30 days to get more reach, more customers, to help more people. Right, with that, that's all from my side. Yep, CK, you can take over from here.
Hi everyone. Now, I understand that Dylan has covered many things that can be done, correct? Okay, so today I just want to cover one topic with everyone, okay? Which is What will stop you from doing whatever is taught? Give it 1 minute, everyone. Give it 1 minute, think about it. What will stop me from doing what is taught? Because I think we are overtrained people and underdoing people. I repeat, we are overtrained, underdoing. I don't need you all to type into the chat yet. I just want you to talk to yourself. I don't need to know the answer. Write down for yourself. What's the reason why I hear so many fantastic things, etc., 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 and then I'm not doing it? Come, take 30, 40 seconds, write it down. Now, today I'd like to talk to everyone about this. What is it that stops you from doing what is covered in sadly, in trainings, in coaching, or for some of you who attend the last 2 book reviews? It's open to all anyway, but most people do not turn up. Assuming you do turn up, you did turn up, what is stopping you from doing all this? Okay, now while you keep your answers to yourself, I would like to ask a second question. All of you are in a cycle, right? I had this conversation with one of you all just in the last 2-3 days. Okay, all of you are in a particular cycle. It's either a good cycle or a bad cycle. For those who are in a bad cycle, do you really want things to end? And especially for those in the bad cycle, do you want the good things to start or not? When I'm asking you, do you really want, I'm asking, are you a hypocrite, everyone? What do you tell your clients when they say they don't want to invest? You educate them, right? Have you heard of this phrase before? Teachers are the worst students. Okay, now, while I'm talking to you about this, then can I ask you a question? We talk about MHE, right? Getting your business to a point whereby you can get more done, you'll be happier, and things get done easier also. It always, whenever it comes out over the last, since we launched it at in the starting of the year, 1 quarter has passed. It feels like it is an organizational goal. But I would like to ask you one question, Ken. Truly think about this question. When CK talks about the organization goal of MHE, more happier, easier, is the organization trying to align to what you want, or is it you trying to align to what the organization wants? Now, most people will think that, this is what the organization wants, so they will sell us this bullshit week in, week out, month in, month out. Now, everyone, can I ask you a question? What is the opposite of MHE then? Opposite of more is less. Opposite of happy is unhappy. Opposite of easier is harder. If you don't try to get MHE, is CK trying to align to you then? Or are you trying to align to me then? What is the common problem of being in the industry? Simple. You can be productive or not productive. Second step, productive or not, come a few years later, you will get bored. Give it another 2 more years. Step number 3, you will enter a quarter life or midlife crisis or whatever crisis that is. And because we spend 8 hours sleeping, 8 hours working, and 8 hours living our life, we will never find fault with the way that we sleep. We will never find fault with the way that we live our life. So the only person we can blame is our job. And then you know what happens. By asking you to bring your business from current state to MHE, am I actually trying to align to you? And we even give you the simple step to do it. I said simple, I didn't say it's easy, right? It's simple. Okay? You can either stay in option number 1, I am a self-employed, I stay as self-employed, and one day I will go through the process that CK described just now. Or I can try to escape the never-ending cycle and I try to become an agency leader. I get other S's to join my S. And the alternative route, these can, 2 and 3 can go hand in hand. As a self-employed, bring yourself to a B, business owner. What is a business owner? You hire people, your employees, you collaborate with other assets. For example, I'm the PGM for many project group for recruitment, for influencers, and there's this thing called turn knowledge into FYC, because knowledge doesn't always turn into commission. It's a collection of people who want to turn their knowledge into commission, which is nothing wrong at all. Or you can work with other Bs, which is actually what Dylan covered. What Dylan covered is this. You are an S, you're a self-employed. Try working with other Bs or S to generate the excess cash flow, which you can then invest back to become a B. This was covered in the beginning of the year, because the only way to get from S to B is from excess cash flow. Because hiring requires money, collaboration requires money, any form of profit sharing requires money, and that excess cash flow, everyone, comes from you solving this problem. Would you like to take a print screen of this screen for yourself, everyone? Everyone do a print screen now. I seriously need everyone to think clearer. I made the compulsory reading The Art of Thinking Clearly because most people don't think, let alone think clearly. I would like you to understand, everyone, when I talk about this, what stops me from doing what I've been trained in. Follow my marker here. You can choose your actions, everyone. You just cannot choose your consequences. I can tell you there's a fire and you want to put your hand inside, it's totally fine. But you cannot stop yourself from being burned. True? Now, why I would like everyone to print screen this whole thing is because if you have no clarity of what you are going to work towards, it's very hard for you to find the reason to break the cycle. And let's start from step number one, everyone. What stops me from doing what is covered? In the first place, what is stopping you from asking for coaching? In the first place, a book review has been planned for you. What is stopping you from attending? I can assure you, whatever reasons you come up with will always be bullshit. I can assure you of that. Okay? Whose bullshit is that? Our own bullshit, everyone. You buy your own bullshit, that's the problem. And then you buy your own bullshit, you expect people to buy investment through you. Dylan keeps talking about the next 1 month. Should it only be a 1 month thing? Did CK get here? Did Dylan get here because they did 1 good month? Okay. Now, all of you know this will happen, especially this part here, everyone. This will happen to you eventually. After some years, you will get this illusion. Whether you stay in the industry or not, it doesn't matter anymore. Because you will become irrelevant. And that is why so many people see this industry as a stepping stone. And why is it that CK does not see this as a stepping stone? Because there's an exit, everyone, S to B. I'm not even talking to you about this part here today. Get to here first. Now, many people think that it is only a matter of excess cash flow. Let's solve this problem here first, everyone. If you can stop stopping yourself from doing whatever is being trained, you can get out of a cycle and you get yourself excess cash flow. And this is just, everyone, excess cash flow, write it down somewhere. It's just your step number 1. That's the easy part. The difficult part is, why should people work with you? Why should people work with you? That is the difficult part. Can you have capability and no one wants to work with you? Has my behavior, or will my behavior in the next 3 months, 2 years, ensure that 2 years later people will line up to work with me? Many people think that business is about using their brain. No, everyone, business is about using your heart. And if you can't get that basic excess cash flow in, you don't have a heart. But yet, you go out there on social media and talk a big game about having a heart for your clients. Don't feel like laughing? I also feel like laughing, everyone. Now, in the last book review, okay, does anyone remember how I do my appointments? Anybody would like to unmute? Those who attended the last one, unmute and tell everyone what you remember about CK conducting his sales appointment when he goes for a joint field work. Come. I can't remember who attended, so you have to unmute. Calvin Lu, come, try.
basically you tell them what you want to tell them, as in 5 minutes to do the presentation. Then subsequently you ask them about do you have any questions. Basically is to solve the objection.
Okay. Now, everyone, what is the biggest news? What is the biggest news on the international stage now? From Imran, try.
The biggest news in the international stage.
I give you a clue. I choose you because you post on it, so I assume you know it.
Israel versus Palestine.
Yeah. Okay. It's not Dogecoin, everyone. Now, regardless of the history and the fairness, unfairness, whatever political issues behind it, the whole news, everyone, you need to understand that this whole thing, as covered in the last book review, in the context of sales, is that people will fight to their deaths to say no. Write it down. People will always fight to say no. They have no problem saying yes. People will always fight to say no. Then you must be thinking, what has this got to do with whatever you covered just now, CK? Just now, Dylan shared a whole 30 minutes on how to work with others, right? Now I show you how to do this, can? What Dylan covered was this. Go and look for S or B, generate your own excess cash flow, correct? And if people like to talk, people will fight to say no. Remember the last book review I told you all, go out there and get no. And how do you go out there and get no? Maybe you want to consider conducting your appointments like I do. People who have been to my joint field work, people who have been to my recruitment appointment understand one thing. CK does not try to convince, CK tries to get a lot of no. Okay? So, in the book, Never Split the Difference, he calls it an accusation audit, but I repurpose it a bit. You only need to make one statement and one question, everyone. I want to talk to you about investing through me. What are the things you will say no to? List down. Go out there and talk to people like that. Write down. Print screen it somewhere. Should not be hard. This is the easiest training I've ever given in the last 15 years. Substitute it with anything that you want to get from them. Like for Dylan's case, I want to work with you to come up with a business collaboration. What are the things you will say no to? You ask for a no, you give people a sense of control, they won't be in a rush to say no. And remember this, when people run out of no, you get a yes. This is what Dylan covered. This is what I covered last week. I think this is the best way. I feel this is the best way for all of us to conduct our sales in this COVID world, whereby on and off we will keep going back into circuit breaker 0.5. Go out there and ask for objection. What will you say no to? Tell me everything you will say no to. I would like to know. Why do people get defensive? Because they know you're trying to get a yes. But yet this guy comes along, this lady comes along and asks for all the no. For all you people who think that it is very hard to have a hidden agenda when you talk to people, there's no hidden agenda here. My agenda is to get a no from you. I already told you my agenda is to sell you, nothing else. Or for rookies doing the 5 steps, I want to talk to you about getting referrals to invest through me. What are the things you will say no to? Substitute this with anything that you want to get. I thought this through over the entire weekend. I don't see how anyone can have emotional difficulty doing this unless you are really lazy. And if you are, please leave. Okay? Because I think you deserve to be an asset outside rather than be a liability to yourself here. I repeat this one. 2 simple steps. Whatever you want to achieve, tell people upfront and ask them what they will say no to. If you don't know how to answer them, there's a lot of people for you to ask. I think Dylan sent out a investment update session for the next time round. I think 1-2 weeks later, right? Y'all can collate your questions also. If you need immediate answers, you have no lack of people to ask. Go out there and do it. So I come back to the first question. What is stopping you from doing what is covered in Sadly, in training, in coaching, in book reviews? Then compare the answer with what I just told you to do. Go out there and get a list of no from people. I don't need your answer. I only need you to seriously think this through. If you're not irrelevant today, you will become irrelevant very soon, everyone. And if you have already become irrelevant, no one will remember you 1 year from now. I would like everyone to seriously consider whatever I just said. The important things are, do you really want your cycle to end? Do you really want? Number 2, for my cycle to end, am I really willing to apply what is taught to get the excess cash flow? Write these 2 questions down. Number 1, do I really want my cycle to end? MHE or S to B, whatever you call it, is meant for your cycle to end. Number 2, what am I willing to do in order to get the excess cash flow in so that the cycle will end? And number 3, am I willing to go out there and get a list of no from everyone? You know why a rejection feels like a rejection? Because you are sheepishly looking for a yes and they give you a no. And people confuse CK's ability to not feel rejected as with a simple explanation called CK, the skin is very thick. Everyone, my skin is not thick, understand not? It's because I keep asking for a no. If I ask for a no and they give me a no, why would I get rejected? I asked for it, they gave it to me, fair due. The question here is, you don't want to hear it, but yet CK looks forward to hearing it every day. Same thing, whatever Dylan asks you to do, go out there and get a no, is fine. All right. Final reminder, if you ask for a no and people give it to you, it is not a rejection. They are simply answering your question. Can everyone? Okay. Now, I'm done for my segment. I just hope that whatever I covered today, you can understand that the only intention that we have for you is for whatever cycle that you don't want to be in to end. Everyone understand? Okay. The things that you want to continue, it will naturally continue, everyone. When good things happen, your good things don't go away. But when good things happen, your bad things go away. All right? Okay, Sam, please take over.